Emilia Carr was born on August 4th, 1984. She grew up with her mother, Maria Zayas, who said that Emilia had everything growing up. In school, she always maintained A's and B's and had even enrolled in the Army ROTC program at her high school. Although seemingly doing well in school and having an IQ of 125, she dropped out but did go on to get a GED. After getting her GED, she dabbled in modeling, photography, and had even gone to a massage therapy school for a while. Emilia was young, but had been in 2 marriages that ended in divorce. She ended up filing a restraining order against her first husband and was also spiraling out of control with an ex-husband who was a thief and was into stealing exotic birds. Emilia got caught up and was able to avoid prison time, but did get sentenced to 2 years of probation. She was now a young mom of 3 children, but her ex-boyfriend by the name of J.V. Acombe was taking care of the 1 child they had together, and her relatives were taking care of the other 2. After her failed marriages, she started a relationship with a man by the name of Joshua Damian Fulgham, who was a father of 2 with his on and off again girlfriend, Heather Strong. Emilia fell in love with Joshua and the 2 got engaged in November of 2008, but the following month in December, Joshua married the mother of his children, Heather Strong. Although feeling betrayed, Emilia surprisingly kept in contact with them, and they seemed to get along fine at first, with Emilia even agreeing to babysit Heather and Joshua's 2 children. Heather and Joshua's new marriage was not healthy, and Joshua ended up going to jail a month after they married in January of 2009. He was soon released, and the charges were dropped against him only because Emilia forced Heather to drop them. Heather was done with Joshua, left him for good, and started seeing someone else. They filed for divorce soon after, but disputed over child support and child custody. Emilia and Joshua had no issues getting back together, and in fact, Emilia was elated because she was estimated to have been around 6 months pregnant with Joshua's child. She had Joshua's back and would do anything to support him, even if that meant helping with having Heather killed to avoid him being in a legal battle over their 2 children. It was now February 2009. Heather was working at a restaurant in a petrol gas station, and for some reason she left work and was convinced or lured into a storage trailer behind Emilia's mother's house. Heather eventually died at the hands of Emilia and Joshua. Heather failed to show up to work, check in with her children, and other people, so she was reported missing on February 15, 2009. She was eventually found buried in a shallow grave on March 19, 2009. Joshua was arrested for fraud soon after Heather was reported missing because he had taken all of Heather's credit cards and was using them. He did not mention Emilia's name initially, but she too was eventually arrested because investigators were keeping an eye out on people who were close to Joshua. Investigators were able to listen to a recorded call of Emilia discussing the crime with Joshua's sister, and Joshua also ended up confessing. Emilia was arrested on March 24, 2009, and it has been reported that while being questioned, she had spoken with investigators on 10 separate occasions and had admitted to the crime without asking for legal representation each time. Although she recanted her admissions at a later date, they still held in court. While in custody, Emilia gave birth to her 4th child, and the child was given up for adoption. In a vote of 7-5, Emilia was found guilty on December 7, 2010, after her 2-week-long trial, and she was sentenced to death by method of lethal injection. As for Joshua, he was sentenced in 2012 to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Emilia was once the youngest woman on Florida's death row. She tried appealing her case, saying she had an ineffective counsel, but in 2015, the Florida Supreme Court agreed with her death sentence. It wasn't until 2016 when things changed in the state of Florida altogether. The U.S. Supreme Court had just ruled the death penalty was unconstitutional, and Florida revised what would make someone eligible for being sentenced to death. Governor Rick Scott signed off on it being mandatory for a unanimous jury decision for the death sentence, so since the jurors in Emilia's case were 7-5, she was eligible for resentencing. Emilia and another woman on Florida's death row named Tiffany Ann Cole were on a 2020 special together as the youngest women on death row at the time. Tiffany is still awaiting her new sentencing hearing, and as for Emilia, on May 19, 2017, Judge Willard Pope resentenced Emilia to life in prison without the possibility of parole. After Emilia was featured on national television, Many thought she looked like a teenager, was pretty, and very articulate. They also couldn't believe she was on death row and didn't feel as if she should still be on death row. Emilia brought up how not too many rich people are on death row and made a statement about equality being an illusion. This made the mother of Heather Strong furious. She felt as if Emilia was becoming a celebrity and did not deserve the attention. She felt that Emilia was just a manipulative killer, and she was quoted saying, "Just like she saw my daughter take her last breath, I want to see her take hers. I can't help that Emilia is only 30. My daughter will never be 30. Women killers go on TV, they cry and all that, but get over it. They are still murderers and no better or worse than male killers. I will be there. God willing, let me live long enough to see that woman die. I'll be the last face I hope she sees." I'm sorry if that sounds cruel, but I don't have any sympathy for her. Heather Strong's mother, Carolyn, believed that Emilia and Joshua only wanted the two children for welfare money, and that they were both evil and did not deserve to be parents or alive. She did not get her wish after Emilia's resentencing, but I would like to ask you all, how do you feel about a killer becoming famous? When they show an interview of the killer, they aren't focusing on their crime, so I think many people can be persuaded by their looks, demeanor, and emotion. Sometimes you have people rooting for the killer because they're focusing on that person 30 years after the crime that they committed, and they seem to not care about their crime in detail. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Also, I would like to note that for some stories I would like to share with you guys, I have to be careful what I say, and in some videos I can't mention certain childhood experiences, so I upload a more detailed version of some stories on Patreon if you are interested.